Hi, this is Kerry Artag with Wicked Stocks, bringing you your daily Tesla report for Monday, March 18th, 2024. But before I walk you through the charts, as usual, just want to encourage you to please click like if you haven't already. Subscribe to the Wicked Stocks YouTube channel. Share the content, if you would, with friends and colleagues. And check out wickedstocks.com, where we offer a full suite of both daily and weekly analytical videos just like this one. Daily analysis in the SPY and the Triple Q, that is the S&P 500 and NASDAQ 100 ETFs. Weekly analysis in the S&P 500 Index, the NASDAQ 100 Index, the Long Bond ETF, the TLT, as well as 2 individual stock picks a week that you never see on YouTube. That is 8 a month that cater to the 3 to 5 week swing trader out to the 3 to 5 month near-term investor. We're always looking for at least 20% moves on those stock picks, and you can check out all of this for no cost for 5 days. We offer a 5-day free trial up front with a wickedstocks.com subscription. So sign up for wickedstocks.com, check it all out. If you don't like what you see within 5 days, you can cancel your subscription at no cost to you whatsoever. Let's take a look at the charts. I'm going to jump to this chart here right out of the gates, and this is the long-term channel bottom that stems off that July high from last year that had been and was an objective. We closed below it actually last Friday. I'll get to that in a second. But it had been an objective following that late December high. We closed below a rising speed line and channel bottom combination, as you recall. That set up for what up to that point was you could prepare for the 164.37 channel bottom when we were testing channel resistance. That is now at 244.39, but then in the mid 260s, as I recall, you could prepare for what then was the mid 170s, which we did actually test about a month and a half ago. Came off of it. Now we're right back at it and below it. We did close below this structure. And so I had been saying that barring a settlement below this channel bottom, you can bottom pick this channel bottom in anticipation of the possibility for full bullish rotation back to the 244.39 channel top over the following 2 to 3 to 5 months or so. Now the market is indicating, I'm going to use the word suggesting otherwise. And I say suggesting because, yes, we did close below the structure by a 1% margin on Friday. But if you look at the daily chart, we also closed slightly higher on the day. There is hesitation here. I'm not balking at a sell signal. We are in the midst of a sell signal. But the question is, what is the probability thereof that we may now incur 2 to 3 months bearish continuation to 86.18? If you set yourself up for that on Friday's close, I have no problem with that. I support that. I also, support if you're, and I saw some of the comments on YouTube, that you're going to hold off on, liquidating a long position. You're going to stay long here, given the circumstances, given the fact, that we closed below this structure clearly on Thursday, and then Friday it held. I wish I could zoom in here, but I'm not. The fact that this channel bottom did hold buying pressures last Friday, but we also closed higher on the day. So there's hesitation now. Now, probability is that we'll continue south over the next 3 to 5 days to 152.37, over the next 3 to 5 weeks to 129.32 and dropping. And over the next 2 to 3 to 5 months, I think this 86.18 preceded by the 101.81 January 23 low is the likelier outcome. But we do need some validation on the way down. And so what is that validation? Well, I do think that merely closing below 160.36, for instance, which is below last Friday's low. We've got this low area here. So I think if we 160.36 can contain intraday selling. And if we don't test 152.37 today, I do think if we close today below 160.36, I think the market is telling you something. That the sell signal that occurred last week, the valid sell signal that occurred last Friday when we closed below that 164.37 channel structure by a full 1% margin is having its way. And that we should, within a matter of days, this week, test 152.37, over the coming weeks, 129.32, and as I mentioned earlier, over the coming months, the upper, the 86.18 formation, it's dropping at a pretty steep pace. If the market is so inclined to test it, and it may will be, because over the next 2 or 3 months, it actually drops into, the 50s. And so we'll just kind of watch this. I do think what we can then assume, though, is 101.81. That low from last January, double bottom potential here, 2 to 3 month target, and yes, backed up by this descending channel top at 86.18. So that is the big picture. That is what the market has indicated, despite the fact that we did close positive on Friday by a hair, a buck seven. So it's kind of like, let's see where this goes. I do think the market tips its hand downside if we settle today below 160.36. I think if we open today below 160.36, I think 152.37 is in reach today. It could be a high volatility Monday where we fall to this April 23 low. And I think a daily low here is possible. I was going to use the word likely, but there is no likely here, especially when they're in the midst of a long-term sell signal. And under that scenario, it would then look like we would close yet again Friday below the 164.37 formation. By the 1% margin this week is 162.72. So, we're inside that 1% zone just by rolling into an unchanged open on Monday. When I say rolling, I mean if we open at 163.57, we're right back into the 1% zone. Believe it or not, we actually closed below it last Friday by about 50 or 60 cents. So, but I take it. I take it as a sell signal. It is an actionable sell signal. And if you're nimble, you might actually have to reverse back to the upside. If we happen to close today, for instance, back above 165.65, that does neutralize bearish tempo. That does, at least through the week, neutralize the sell signal. And, if you're long, you're staying long with a settlement today above 165.65. If you're a new short position based on the sell signal last week and we close back above 165.65, my suggestion is to liquidate that short position, at least for the next few days, and then sort of play it into later week. And what I will also say is if we close today above 171.88, that does aggressively pivot the market up. So it reverses momentum, the sell signal completely off, and in fact, we're back into the buy column. So closing above 171.88, I'm talking to not only 3 to 5 day swing traders, but 2 to 3 week swing traders, and even those of you, let me go back to the big picture here. If we settle Friday back above 164.37, that neutralizes last week's sell signal, which was by a marginal degree. And with that, we're back into bottom picking framework, wherein we could anticipate the possibility of reaching, once again, the 244.39 channel top over the following 2 to 3 months. On the way up, I am comfortable anticipating with a weekly settlement above 164.37, this 197.22 to 204 even area. This is a new channel top and descending 1/3 speed line. So we're back to anticipating this as a 2 to 3, 3 to 5 week possibility if we close the week back above 164.37. If we close the day above 165.65, the same formation on the daily chart, then I think once again, exit short positions. If you're long already, stay long. Closing above 171.88. If you're position free, you're going long into the 194.77 to 198.84 region. 198.84 is this new descending channel top on the daily chart. 194.77 is this former 2/3 speed line. And if we close today above 171.88, don't be short. That's really what I'm going to suggest. It doesn't really depend on, or it doesn't matter what your time horizon is. Everybody has a time horizon they're comfortable trading. And the last thing I want is my analysis to suggest you should go from day trading to 2 to 3 week swing trading and vice versa, going from 2 to 3 week swing trading to day trading. I don't want my analysis to sway you, but I do think I cover them all pretty well. And if we close above 171.88, 3 to 5 day and 2 to 3 week swing traders should play the buy side of the market, anticipating once again this descending resistance in the 197.22 to 204 even area. So I think it can be simply said that holding below 165.65 this week, you're maintaining a short position. or you're at least respecting the market's ability to continue south based on last week's valid long-term sell signal. If we close above 171.88, just the opposite. Grand head fake to the downside. The market then likely to rip roar. And I do think under this scenario of closing below this channel bottom and then above this channel top at 171.88, if we close above it, that is sort of a rip roar rally. I could see 194.77 within a week or so, which is the beginning of a narrowing range of resistance up to 198.84. 198.84 is represented on the weekly chart once again as 197.22. I have it all up here that can by that point in time, and I would call this, like a 2 to 3 week target, 198.44. If we close above 165.65, I think that is what's being suggested, and that's what's become indicated if we close above 171.88. Then I think we can expect the mid to upper 190s narrowing gradually and able to contain at least weekly, if not buying through all of April and we fall away. And finally, it would be, last thing I will say, is a settlement above this zone, 197.22 to the 204 even, dropping weekly, that if settled above does clearly indicate 244.39. But that 244.39 in reach if we close this week Friday back above 164.37, and that's really what I think you can begin to anticipate the possibility of, which becomes clearly indicated with a weekly settlement above the 204 even long-term speed line. I hope I covered everything. I think I did pretty well. I will leave you with this image: bearish today below 165.65, bullish through the rest of the week above 171.88, and really into April trade above 171.88. Bearish into April trade, and really into later Q2 below 165.65, and as represented on the weekly chart at 164.37. There, I said it all. I'm past 10 minutes. I'm going to leave it at that. Please click like, share, subscribe, and check out wickedstocks.com. 2 stock picks every week. We did 2 last week. You don't want to miss it. I'll talk to you soon. I'll be back tomorrow with Tuesday's Tesla.